Okay, I will now call the Honorable Bernadette Smith, Minister of Housing, Addictions, and Homelessness, and Minister responsible for mental health.
Miigwech, merci. I want to thank Lloyd for that beautiful opening prayer, beautiful words. And I want to say thank you to MMF for inviting me here today. Certainly something to be celebrating. As people come to Winnipeg to, as Lloyd said, to come and access health care, they certainly should be able to come and have don't have somewhere to stay, so this place will be somewhere for them to come and support their families. I was talking to Minister Francis earlier and talking about our president and about the supports that his grandson needs, and how much challenge they have with supporting their own grandson and the needs that they have. I too have a nephew who was born with exceptional needs. He was born with arthrogryposis, so when he was born, his mother didn't have amniotic fluid in her belly, so his muscles didn't develop, which means he's in a wheelchair. He has to be changed. He has to be fed. So he has a lot of medical needs. He goes to the hospital a lot, and a lot of challenges. And family often have to step up, and it's not always the parents that have to step up. It's aunties, uncles, cousins. So, this center is going to be a center that supports all families. So I really want to congratulate the MMF, for recognizing that, for supporting the community. And we're certainly looking forward as a government to continuing, to work together. How amazing, the MMF, and how proud we are as a government, the work that the MMF is doing to address the housing crisis here in Manitoba, and certainly, the needs of those that are having to access medical needs here in our province. So I want to lift you up for the work that you're doing and say miigwech, merci, and I look forward to our future partnerships. So thank you very much.
Sorry, Minister Smith. Also, on behalf of the Housing Department and Health and Wellness, we'd like to present a gift to you today. Okay, with a slight change to the agenda, next up we will have Minister Francis Chartrand, Minister of Health and Minister responsible for early learning and childcare.
Good morning, everybody. It's kind of chilly out today. So first I want to start off by thanking our Elder Lloyd Vermillion for his opening prayer. Without your leadership and guidance and wisdom of our elders, we wouldn't be where we are today. We gather here for a very important occasion, a moment that carries with it the promise of healing, health equity, and strengthening community bonds. We stand before you to introduce an initiative that holds the power to transform the lives of Red River Métis citizens, not only in the city of Winnipeg, but across the province of Manitoba. So when you look at it, that we're going to have looking at historical changes, we're going to look at our Red River Métis citizens not having to fundraise, not having to have prize bingos, not having to borrow money from elders. We're going to have a safe place that's going to provide cultural programming, that's going to provide liaison and advocacy when they're going into the medical system. I want to acknowledge our partners, the Housing Department, and of course I want to acknowledge our health and wellness staff for their hard work, commitment, always being on the floor, providing top-notch #1 services across the province of Manitoba. Please give the staff a round of applause. So when you look at children and children coming in for leukemia care, coming in for cancer treatment, coming in for with their families just to meet their babies, they have nowhere to stay. If you look at research and you look at population, and majority of the Red River Métis citizens outside of the perimeter live in poverty. So this is a stand that the Red River Métis government has your back. So I want to just thank everyone. And I want to make sure that the city of Winnipeg knows that we're here and we're here to stay. And we're not asking for handouts. We're here to be partners. We're here to be partners in reconciliation, and we want to make sure that they know who the Red River Métis are, and we want to provide programs and services for everyone. So once again, I want to thank Minister Godon and your team for calling us in to help you support the process and the program that you're doing right now. And I know that you don't want to sit here and listen to politicians all day, so I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Winnipeg Region. You'll be taking care of our Red River Métis citizens that come out from, even if they come in from Churchill, from Duck Bay or Camperville. I want to make sure this is a welcoming site. We're just going through COVID. So another thing is Bernadette Smith is the Minister of Mental Health and Wellness. I'm sure we'll be knocking on her door to make sure that we have mental health workers that are going to be on site to assist and work with our families and our children as they go through the healing and go through the struggles of coming from the rural setting, coming to the city of Winnipeg. So thank you very much, and we're going to make history together, Bernadette. It's going to be a great time, and I'm proud of your leadership, and I'm proud of NDP coming and stepping up, because I know Minister Godon and I will be knocking on your door as we move forward on this initiative. Thank you guys very much once again, and thank you, Minister Godon, for having us.
Thank you for speaking today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for those words, Minister Chartrand. So next up, we have personally my favorite minister, Minister Will Godon, Housing and Property Management. Minister Godon, would you like to come up?
I think that deserves a hug. Thank you so much. Yeah, I sign her paychecks. Thanks, Emily. That was you do such a wonderful job, and I think we absolutely have found our new MC for all of the events that we're going to be having. Can everyone hear me? Okay? Is it? Yeah. It's just kind of hard to hear with the traffic and stuff. First of all, again, Lloyd, thank you for the opening prayer and your words of what you went through as a young person and why facilities like this are absolutely necessary. They've been necessary for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, but we've finally come to a place with our Red River Métis government where we can have partnerships and be able to build facilities like this. So thank you. And I also wanted to, before I get into the meat of the of my speaking notes, is to recognize an elder who just left us, and his funeral's on Sunday, John Lee, who was a friend for all of us, and his smiling face will be with us in all the pictures we have of him, but he won't be at the assembly anymore, and he was bound and determined to make it to the assembly this year, sitting right in the front there. We made sure we had a spot for him, and he stayed all for Saturday and Sunday to make sure, because that was part of his life, is supporting his nation and his people. So I obviously want to give a big shout out to the Honorable Bernadette Smith. It's going to be a little bit of a process for me to call you minister, although I will get used to that. But again, like Minister Chartrand said, as ministers that cross into your portfolio, we absolutely want to be able to sit down and talk, and I know your door will be open. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Vice President Carrier, Minister Remillard, thank you both for coming out today, and of course Minister Chartrand. She used to be my best friend in cabinet, but then I don't know, she got mad at me, and I'm not sure what happened there. But you know, we tease each other, but a lot of the hard work happens at all different kinds of levels, including ours. But most importantly, I think the teams, the departments, the frontline staff who are you know, making those calls every day, twisting arms for funding, you know, trying to find a location like this. Now, how could you have a better location than this, right across the street from the Health Science Centre, where you've got children's and women's and cancer care. And I'm not reading my speech at all, so sorry about that, Gord. And I wanted to tell a little story as well. And it has to do with a couple of young people in my region, the Southwest region. About 20 years ago, President Chartrand, I think one of his commitments during one of his early elections was to have something like this. So we've never let go of that dream, is to be able to provide a place that's safe, culturally appropriate, affordable for families who have to come into the city for healthcare reasons. When my son, he's 25 now, almost 26, he's in his fourth year medical school at U of M. When he was 2.5, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and we were actually traveling to Boston because I had been accepted to Harvard. No brag there, but maybe a little bit. But we obviously put that off, and if it wasn't for family, you know, we probably wouldn't have survived that horrible time. And then my vice president in Southwest region, Leah LaPlante, her daughter Jill is an amazing person, but has tremendous health challenges that she's facing, and they keep piling up on her all the time. But she goes through it with a smiling face. And so there was a time we had a regional meeting back in, I think, the early 2000s, and I remember Albert was there as vice president of Northwest. There was a couple other vice presidents there, and my dad liked animals, wildlife, and he had a bear that was painted with a fiddle, a sash on, and they auctioned it off. And I think between 3 or 4 regions, they raised about $5,000 or $6,000, and that was the start of something called the Jill and Hunter Fund. Now, it's in the Southwest. It was for us to be able to help families to come in to the city if they needed medical care. And now we've gone from that fund with about $5,000, $6,000, which we still operate in Brandon, to a almost $11 million facility that we're going to be able to support all kids as much as possible right across the country, right across the province. So we're super pumped about this. I am going to get into it a little bit because I wanted to talk about some of our partners. Obviously, the Minister of Health, who's a tremendous partner, but this idea was part of a process. It's got to be about 5 or 6 years ago now that the federal government started a innovation housing initiative for Indigenous peoples, and MMF submitted, like our housing flag, MMF submitted 3 proposals. We got 2 approved, and that's with the Indigenous Housing Innovation Initiative. And we're receiving approximately $2.5 million for this project, as well as the one that we just had a groundbreaking on the Mazoon on Edison for kids who are transitioning out of care. So we received funding from both those places. And I wanted to point out someone who helped me write the proposal get it through the process. He carried it for a couple of years. Brad Boudreau, a friend of mine, and he used to work for me. I can't boss him around anymore, but you know, he was very helpful. So thank you very much, Brad. Okay, I got the evil eye from my friend, the Minister of Health, and I think I'm going to leave it there. You know, there's a, you know, if there's questions about how many rooms, what the services are that are going to be inside, I know that the Minister and myself will both be able to provide some insight on that. But before I go, I also wanted to give the regrets from President Chartrand. He wasn't feeling well today, and last minute he asked me to come here and speak on his behalf. As I said earlier, though, like, this has been something that I remember in what, if not the very first campaign, then the second campaign of President Chartrand, that we would have a facility like this. And you know, when those ideas get planted, they start to grow when we have the right people working the soil, and President Chartrand is one of those people. So I want to say a big thank you to him. If he's watching on YouTube or anything, to make sure that a real quick story. When I first started working for David Chartrand, one of the first initiatives we did was the hunting rights. So we actually, this is before Powley, this is before Goodon, before all of those things, we didn't have any recognized rights to hunt. And so we had the Commission for the Laws of the Hunt. And we went around Manitoba, talked to different communities, and one day the president phones me. It's like 5 minutes to 7. The meeting starts at 7. He says, I'm not feeling good. I can't make it. You're going to have to do my part. And I'm like, oh, okay. At that time, I was fairly insecure, and I knew the stuff. So we went in, and Senator Ed Head was there. Most of you know who Senator was. He's an amazing man. And we did the meeting. It was in Richer. And so then afterwards, President Chartrand phones me up. He said, so how did it go? I said, well, it went really well, David, but I got to tell you one thing for sure. You're never going to have to worry about me running against you for president. That's for darn sure. Anyways, thank you very much. We're really excited about this facility. And I want to, you know, I know Minister Chartrand gave a shout out for her team. Housing Department team is amazing as well. And I just wanted to give a big thank you to all of you for all the work you do in all the different programs, but especially when we're able to deliver on something like this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Minister Goodon. So to close the ceremony, we will have Elder Lloyd come back up. After that, the ceremonial groundbreaking will proceed, and all guests are invited to watch as well. We have some refreshments provided in the back by Métis-owned Bistro on Notre Dame, so all are welcome to help themselves to that as well. But for now, I'll call Elder Lloyd up.
Ready? Up in the air.